Hello everyone, I'm Kissy. Welcome to my channel. So I started doing a reading for myself. Meaning I do daily readings for the collective, but they don't always get translated or transmitted to the collective. It's like some are just for me to integrate, for me to understand, and then I'm given the message to share. So that's how I do my readings online. So I started doing this, and then I realized, okay, this is definitely a reading that I can share with the collective. So that's why the cards are already spread here. But there's so much to chat about. I don't know if this is because the moon is in Virgo, but needless to say that Virgo is a stickler for details and getting very detailed in conversation. Sometimes, because my natal Mercury is in Aries, I tend to just go straight to the point, not to waste any time to say what I need to say and just, convey the message as astutely as possible. And with Virgo, like, all the details matter. Everything is relevant. And so, okay. So firstly, there's so much I want to share already, like what I already saw with the cards, with the crystal book, the message from the Orishas, the music. So let's begin with the music. Commentaries in regards to the music. My music is very versatile. I listen to all genres, different languages, and so with that, it got me into considering how we're musically influenced, and the purpose of music, right? Or how it was evolved, or anyway. So I do notice that the older music, like from the 70s, 80s, maybe not even so much the 80s, but definitely 70s and before then, it was more soul in the song. It was authentic, real. It was what you heard came straight from the source, and it wasn't masked very much, if anything. So, and every part of it, every instrument and every word and the harmony is extremely intentional, because music, there was a time where you had to have consistency and in your talent, consistency in your vision, in your dream, and in creation, in your creation. Now, today's time, a lot of that creativity is done by technology. So I guess the conversation is about the downside to technology and how the music that you receive loses its essence. Today's artists, from what I gather, from what I hear in hip-hop today, what I hear through the music my daughter chooses to listen to now, it can be, a generational thing that maybe separates but I feel that I'm pretty open in terms of music, and I love music with intention, and I love, I want to hear a story about it. Like, it has to move you. And what I noticed with a lot of that kind of music that she listens to, some of these people sound like zombies. Like, I don't know if that's like the new thing in song and music, is to sound monotone and disinterested and tired. And just talking about who gives a shit things. Like, okay, like, it's just ridiculous. Anyway, so I don't know if you've noticed, for those of you that do listen in here and there, This isn't my normal voice. I'm recovering from a cold, or I still might have the cold, if anything. But anyway, back to the whole concept of music. There was a couple of songs that, even though they're older, I just want to share just the lyrics to make my point, I guess, if anything, to make my point. Alright, so the first one is a song by David Cassidy and the Partridge Family. So obviously that sounds corny to a lot of people, like, oh my god, the Partridge Family. But they're very popular in their time. So anyways, I woke up in love this morning. I love this song. It's very popular. And I've heard it in shows. Okay, back to influence. Like, had it not been for television shows, I probably would not have known a lot of the artists that I do, or know of their music or of who they were. So obviously television groomed us or at least helped us be exposed to different genres, different styles, and all of that. But then in the radio, you just go with what sounds good to you, right? You just listen to, okay, you like this. Back in the day when we didn't have our own choice by getting DVDs, or now you're streaming and whatever it is, right? But back then, when you had to like just go based on what you heard on the radio, you may have had a record after watching, a program that exposed you to a certain group or a certain song, and you were like, I need to have that, and you got the record or the cassette. So I'm talking about back in the day. But anyway, so I grew up watching the Partridge Family, and that's how I was introduced to David Cassidy. And he was also on the Brady Bunch, I believe, once or twice. But anyway, this song, I woke up in love this morning. The lyrics say, last night I turned out the light. So I'm getting this is a Divine Masculine message, Divine Feminine. And then I do have one for the Divine Feminine, but I don't remember which one it was. Did I record it? Oh, Energy. Okay, I have it here. So anyway, so last night I turned out the light, laid down and thought about you. I thought about the way that it could be. 2:00, wondering what I'm doing here alone without you. So I close my eyes and dream you here to me. Sounds like he's manifesting. And I woke up in love this morning. Went to sleep with you on my mind. I woke up in love this morning. Okay, so the lyrics go on. Hello, girl. Yes, it's 5:00. I know, but just you listen. There's something that I've got to let you know. This is you. This pillow that I'm hugging and I'm kissing. And one more thing before I let you go. I woke up in love this morning. Okay. Do dreams come true? Well, if they do... Alright, I didn't record past that. But anyway. If you listen to the song and listen to those lyrics, you can feel the intention behind the words. You can feel the passion in the expression, okay, of the music. Which music today, I find, lacks that. And if the intention is to feel something, usually what they're trying to make you feel is pissed off, horny, or angry, right? Pissed off is angry, or sad, angry, or horny. That's what most songs are trying to entice out of you in today's music. That's pretty much it. So, back to old school music. So the next song is California Dreaming, the Mamas and the Papas. Now, I didn't grow up, this was not even my era. This was before my time. This was like in the 60s. But throughout my generation, that song was popularized in movies, and I don't recall where I first heard it, to be honest, but regardless, it has like a morbid sound to it, but despite the more morbid kind of like solemn, like it has like a dark side to it. And I guess it makes sense with the lyrics if you hear them. It says, all the leaves are brown and the sky is gray. I've been for a walk on a winter's day. I'd be safe and warm if I was in LA. So it's obviously someone in a dark space in the winter of their life, okay? And dreaming of a bright sunny day in LA. So California, LA could be significant. California dreaming on such a winter's day. Stopped into a church. I passed along the way. Well, I got down on my knees and I pretend to pray. You know the preacher liked the cold. He knows I'm gonna stay. California dreaming on such a winter's day. That's interesting there. Stopped into a church. I passed along the way. I got down on my knees and pretend to pray. So he pretends to pray, and you know the preacher liked the cold. So he obviously has, he probably doesn't have much faith in a higher power. And he's judging the preacher to be cold-hearted. But then he knows I'm going to stay. That's strange. Stay. I feel oppressive energy from that, regardless. But even if it is negative emotions, right, in this sense, they're still telling you a story. They're still putting you in a storyline. They're putting you in an emotional state that perhaps isn't pleasant. And we can argue that the music I was judging and calling, you know, all they want you to feel is angry, sad, and horny. But it's like, make it purposeful. Like, you're gonna make me feel that way. What's the actual purpose though? Like, is it gonna inspire me to, like, take actions that are to my benefit or not? So in this case, it's more like a retrospection. In this case, it's more like telling a story of his experience. And so you're getting a vibe for the energy. It's not so much, let me tell you the story about my depression and whatever. It was a moment of an epiphany, perhaps, or just a moment of despair. The church represents where you go for solace, for hope, where you go to seek guidance when you're feeling low, when you don't know what to do or where to go. But he pretends to pray. So pretending to pray is like, I don't really have faith in this. So he can wish all he wants to be in LA, but from that standpoint, his lack of faith in a higher power is more of a lack of faith within himself. But clearly he made the song, they went to LA and whatnot. So from a personal standpoint, as a creator of the lyrics of the song, he wrote it from a position of a low point, but he turned that, excuse me, my phone fell. He turned the experience around by manifesting the music resonated with many people, and then he turned that into a positive expression of the emotion. So, okay, that was my tantrum on music. And it may or may not be relevant. It could, if it's not about music, consider it a metaphor for something else in your life, but something to do with comparing, how things used to be versus how they are today, and really seeing like what the value is, how the influence that you're allowing to be in your space, how does that evolve you? How is it evolving you? Anyway, so okay, let's go with the crystals real quick. So we got the jet, and this was a really good, I was glad that this one came through because of an experience I was having prior. So I'm going to explain. Let me do this first. So the attributes of jet is that it actually formed from fossil wood, but looks like coal. It has been used as a talisman since Stone Age times. Jet draws out negative energy and alleviates unreasonable fears. Worn around the neck, it is a stone of protection. It guards against violence and illness and provides protection during spiritual journeying. It was used in olden times to protect from entities of darkness. It is said that those who are attracted to this stone are old souls who have a long experience of being incarnated on the earth. Jet can also be used to open the psychic experiences and to assist the quest for spiritual enlightenment. Traditionally, jet jewelry was said to become part of the body of the wearer. This suggests that jet jewelry that is inherited or purchased should be cleansed with particular care. It is used in healing and should be thoroughly cleansed after each application. It is said to stabilize finances and to protect businesses. It can be placed in a cash box or the wealth corner of the house. This is feng shui. The wealth corner of your house is the far left rear corner or business premises. With all the details that I'm sharing, I might, because with the system that I'm using, I can also call out what the feng shui energies would be and maybe look into how we can balance the energies there. That could be something I do with the readings going forward. But like I said, I'm really I always feel like within myself I'm rushing to just get through it all. Just get to the point and move forward. Just get to the point and move forward. But this Virgo energy is reminding me that it's imperative that when we convey our message, that the message has everything that your in all the information that you can possibly share in regards to it, it would benefit to do so. The more details, the better. I guess the more holistic the picture becomes, the more pieces of the puzzle you can add to what you're conveying. I guess in any message, can you add the emotional tone? Can you add the pinpoint? It's not to just add words. It's to convey the message holistically. Don't if it's a motion picture and you're not there to see it, how much of the motion picture can I relay to you so that you can see the motion picture in your own mind? So, anywho. Psychologically, Jet promotes taking control of life. It balances mood swings and alleviates depression, bringing stability and balance. Jet cleanses the base chakra and stimulates the rise of the Kundalini force. Placed at the chest, it directs the Kundalini force towards the crown chakra. The healing, Jet treats migraines, epilepsy, and colds. So that would be good to have right now, I guess, for me. It diminishes glandular and lymphatic swelling and heals stomach pain. It was traditionally used for menstrual cramps. You can position it anywhere as jewelry. Jet should be set in silver. So the experience that I had was I kept looking back while I was meditating. Like this sense that I was being watched. And I mean, it's happened before where I get the sense. And there was a very, very powerful experience that I had once before where I had the Ascended Masters literally sitting behind me while I was writing. And every time I tried to look back, it's almost like they would, just the presence of them kind of kept me from being able to look directly at them. But there was this understanding of just keep doing what you're doing. We're just here. Like they're just here observing. And that was like one of the most powerful spiritual experiences of, in my whole, I guess you can say path my life path and what I've been, I guess, being prepared for. Spirituality, in some level, it's like the depth of the human experience. Understanding the archetypes has been a big part of that. Understanding symbology, the language of the soul. So anyway, back to, oh darn, the music. So the song for the divine feminine, for the masculine, it's her name is Raquel. Now this was fast forward to like the 90s, I guess. In a Dream, it's called, and it's like a freestyle song. So, in a dream, my love, you will find my heart. In a dream, my love, you will find my heart. So, I'm not going to sing it right now because my voice is all cracky. But anywho, where were we? Next. Okay. Did I want to say something else about the music? No, I think that was good with the music. I covered everything. Okay, so the message from the Orishas, this was interesting because usually I get an archetype or a tarot card to review. This time I got the meaning of the houses. So again, like we said about the details, I feel like Spirit just wants me to share just as a reminder of what each house represents from this, from a more practical standpoint. So the first house represents the individual per se, characteristics, character, virtues, and defects, the psychological aspect. As one wants to see oneself, the ego affirmation, the personality. The second house represents, it involves economic and financial affairs, material possessions, inheritance. This house will be better understood if linked with the sixth house. So the third house comprises communication and the relation of the consultant to siblings, relatives, study mates, etc. Also the relationship to society, town, neighborhood, or birth city. Childhood and old age. It is linked to verbal and written news or communication. Brief studies or those without significant importance. Short trips in time or distance. Public opinion. In this case, it is suitable to consider this house along with the ninth house. So the fourth house is the house of the home. It's the house, the home, its origins, the country. In the northern hemisphere, it is linked to the father, and in the southern to the mother. The fifth house is the sex life, entertainment, sports, good fortune, luck and hazard, children, amorous adventures. The sixth house is the job, the working relationship in a situation where there is dependency, employees and subordinates, health and physical fitness. The seventh house concerning associations, matrimonial, joint societies, legal, etc. The couple, dating, engagements, the marriages. The eighth house is the unconsciousness, repressions, fears, dread that sometimes fail to reach consciousness and that are unknown. Okay. Death, inheritance, the dark side of the mind, occultism. Then the ninth house is the upper mind, metaphysics, philosophy, religion, esotericism, college and high school studies, or long-term postgraduate careers, foreign countries, long trips in distance and time, politics, strategy, planning. The 10th house, we have social position, status, career, profession, fame, and power, the maternal figure in the northern hemisphere and the paternal in the southern hemisphere. So the 11th house, we have friends and effective relations, aspirations and projects under those spiritual values, social life, meetings, feasts, etc. The 12th house is hidden enemies, the taking away of liberty either by one's own decision or by someone else's, hospital admittance, imprisonment, kidnapping, seclusion for mental disturbances or religious motives, accidents, and adversaries. 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 All right. That should be all, folks. Alrighty. So that covers that, huh? I had to share the details, apparently. But the good news is you could always fast forward if it gets too detailed for your liking. We're going to go ahead and we're going to pull an animal totem before I get started with these. The animal totem is going to be for the self, a partnership, home, and career. Self, partnership, home, career. 1, 2, 3, 4. Self, partnership, home, career. So decide which one you want to focus on. And I'm going to pull 4 cards in that order. So for those that have chosen self, you have the vulture. We'll read it later. Those who chose partnership, you have the peacock. Those who chose home, you have the whale. And those who chose career, you have the ant. I think that one came out recently in another reading. Okie dokes. Okie dokes, folks. So, let's begin with the first house here. We have the house of self, and then we have introspection. So this is your introspect is about yourself right now. It's like you're in a space where you're fluid about who you are. In other words, it's like recreating yourself. The process of recreation, this is where you're transmuting the parts that no longer are part of you or that you don't feel are who you are anymore, changing it into who you are. In other words, the presentation of who you are. So you're in retrospection about the self. So it's like you have this 12th house energy of the dream, of the, that fluid space, the imagination, creating the self. In the second house, we have here debilitated or discomfort. So there might be some debilitation when it comes to your values, to your money, to even your emotional state, okay? I associate a lot of emotional state with your financial state. I notice that when you're in a dark space emotionally, your funds tend to be lower. When you're in a better space emotionally, your funds tend to be higher because you have the energy to produce. Whereas when you're in a stale, darker space, there's no flow. There's less flow. It slows down the flow. So your emotional balance also improves your financial balance. They kind of go together, okay? That's my perspective. I mean, I'm sure there's others that share that same ideology or belief, whatever. But test it for yourself. You can take it with a grain of salt. So, in the third house, we have retrograde review. You're reviewing your environment, reviewing perhaps your neighborhood, reviewing your associations to your siblings, to your relatives. So there's something about your environment that you're reviewing. You could be contemplating a change, contemplating how to either improve the environment or feeling out how well balanced you are within that environment. As you're recreating yourself, you might feel uncomfortable. You might feel emotionally debilitated or economically in conflict, perhaps, with making a change. Perhaps there are certain changes you want to make. Maybe they're out of your budget. Or perhaps the changes you want to make are something that's beyond what you've produced in the past. So maybe you're producing what you're producing is going to change your environment. Okay, we're going to leave it at that. It's going to change your environment. So it's like how you're recreating yourself. It might feel a little uncomfortable at this moment, but you know that you're kind of going through some kind of change. Your whole environment's about to change. You also have the Jupiter, abundance in the home. So your home space is going to expand, is being blessed. Your home is being blessed. You're transforming your sense of self based on your on how you assess your environment. So you're being advised to follow your heart. This is the North Node future in the 5th house. Follow your heart when it comes to the things that you love, when it comes to your pleasures, when it comes to your children, when it comes to your romantic partnerships. Follow your heart. That is your true North Node. So there's something about the community in your routine. Either you're bringing your routine to the community that you are part of, or the community is influencing your routine. Take that as it applies to you. It's almost like your participation in a community is more regular, it's more productive, and vice versa. So it's like working cohesively with the community in your daily routines. You're cultivating partnerships, whether it's business, matrimonial, whether it's contract for business. You're cultivating something that's solid, something that's steady, something that is valuable. With someone you have shared values with someone that you can depend on, with someone that is consistent, with someone that is stands on their truth. So stubborn in that way, but in this case I find that it's like in a positive way. Like they don't stand down for the injustice. So that's a good person to have on your team. They stand on their values, and these are good values. I mean, I guess to each his own, right? What's good for one person doesn't necessarily good for another. But in your case, these values are good for you. These are values that you're aligned to, values that you'll appreciate, that you'll find that benefit you. So it's like there's a partnership that's in alignment to you from a value standpoint. we're beginning to structure with Saturn here things that are maybe excuse me. Oh Lord. Oh, I can feel that I'm going to be coughing for a long time.